si ya kloko pa te kunye ne anibio ati babuga yeno uoda salmanaba uoda salmanaba aso babuga yeno uoda salmanaba aba ya fa we na se kan so balu kuno uoda salmanaba buka uoda salmanaba pateno na uoda salmanaba aso maso kule duati ya mapara yeno buka yeno we akanu mambo yipa yenye sakaro Yanawe ah maman pas que Monique ni a conseillé quoi à tout faire ah on est pour que gadote asiada pan peu d'or que keke popula ya soto kubu ni to yanga pour y nous quoi que seul ya au coup de la personne ya papa auto pour y venir no saya bawe apogwa komanda yanga bitwe bakamana na wolona bima kwade ye bomba bakamba pere ya kai lumo kinana ne dengato ma wara dagu wanu ah dodi me ko waga resist to Joel balaso so Mr. Prince Mekalo bu un tuato zanka matoka kwa soda kapa kato ipie ya babora ya yesanya ko ya don papa e fanso fanye asil nango mama wo ki fanye buka yanga abuka no botona mana ko buka biro kwanda biro dagu biro kwanda bicharo kato ya papa ne ya po mane fanta ya mateka no ya po mama uruntu abontogo amapera po ajuza aso gudaka rose ka do jesu apa mene masa para kero meno koma yo koma se mi ka ku pekaro mwe Fatu yene kakwada ye mambo banu grâce ya manga do mandada ibode Yaka wa ye gemo sauta ye bakwe ko la chopete chokape Papa tanko pa ya Dennis DKD kaso mondo eron suba tungo date Andrew Muke buka yanga we buka tango amana ko badwa ko bongo problema so ba ma kwa ga en boya dia e plume wa para ye nu kwa ikuni ye dalo en go mu e pya ga ya wo kon dwa pya wa dia do kwa plume ka ya nu ma tra kwa ikwe ya do to wa sa papa to ikwe ya to do itrongu buka ye we atia ba gbe ka e tro ye ku abo tra kanya ma kontra ka pya ma mo tra ka para ye nu buka ye we uno pengi ndio uno chona kabosi meka kwa moka kosila kunga kwa dia sibo ye bano sipie do iflu aka wa mara ya sombo etera pepo you aka sombo sombo me dia kwa se ya masobo ye ba ko lete Tike waiwe sobe kone kokola Prise maga yentio koroka prokunu Eka simple mieux Moussa Mata Quelqu'un Mon bon petit Romain Sai kwanu kwe kwanu Soko soka yawo Buka yangawe Maudaka wawe Me akukowa dike donda kwa Yanga otasi ama nabwe Nabwe me kuya suo Buka biro kini, biro cheke biro kape kabe Bita ye bakwene, agbe tuaka manure ye moto Yendo mwedo kwa kwa to mayeba Ye yese ye no ple, kumba dese de wote ple So, the world de bleu, ben kwa de woda peke que dragonya batauku yakosa kwa pumba kupadia sieliamea yasapasi ye kwadia kuwe mama ye kiakwane buka yenga we kunu kapese ya dusa lukine kakatoto kwa kine toka lasi 2024 kwene yasiekle ngakwenye kweyenu na kwene yadianu kapese kaya no senjo kane jiro ye kakei mwana kape yikapare kamenu wa wia konyi kula nwana yakora nwana konyi dale peka konyi boga yikwa unto ya la bete kapo kayi basike nunde mara dogu bunda kwa podu poda kape yaka kawo bia unu ye gen sobelu ye pwe konyi siutu para pa ponke kwa konyi let's go you Papa polubo papa na senko papa sawe makana patana ansu soare so ban drop ST na koma aso ba ku ga yelo nango go so ko so ye go play gabasi me mata bio so ba ga wera
Yes, indeed. It's a beautiful, beautiful Thursday evening here from my location. I'd like to say welcome to all of you this evening. Welcome to today's edition of the Heat Hour here. My name is Junior Payne, and I'm your regular producer of the show. Subsequently, I will be joined by Afonso Wumbo, the co-producer of the show. Again, we'd like to say welcome to the Heat Hour. Again, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful conversation here tonight, a wonderful discussion here tonight. I would like to say welcome to all of you who are watching the show this evening. If you're watching us, please do us a due diligence by commenting your name and your location so we can feature you right here tonight on this edition of the Heat Hour. Again, we'd like to say welcome to the Heat Hour here. On the Heat Hour, we say dialogue and our confrontation. We say words and our bullets. We love to use our words wisely when we are on the platform. Again, we say welcome to all of you. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful discussion, a very beautiful discussion here tonight. We're going to be diving into the Liberia educational system. We will make more emphasis on the Nima County School system, where we hear from, where we have more information about. We're going to be discussing that here tonight. Again, it is going to be a wonderful discussion. It's going to be a good show. While we await Alfonso to join us on the show here this evening, I'd like to say welcome to all of you watching the show, wherever you're watching us from. We'd like to say welcome to the show here this evening. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Heat Hour right here on BKS Foundation, BKS TV. We'd like to say welcome to the show again to all of you who are watching the show here this evening. In couple of breaking stories, we have a lot of stories coming up for you. In couple of breaking stories, COFA and others in the Asun case have been sent back to the Monrovia City Court for bond hearing. So we will be bringing you more details about that story here this evening. Former Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Jonathan Fanati Kofa, and the three lawmakers in the Capitol building fire arson case have been sent back. Remember, they were transferred to the Criminal Court A because Criminal Court A is the court that had jurisdiction to hear the matter. So the case was sent to Criminal Court A in order to adjudicate the matter. But in a breaking development here this evening, we COFA and the others have been sent back to the Monrovia City Court for the bond hearing. We're going to bring you more details about that story. And news hitting us here this evening says Senator Snow threatened to sue the Liberian government over defamation case. As you may recall, of recent, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism published a statement saying that Senator Snow stated some things against the government of Liberia. He said he will use his power, calling out to the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. They said, Senator Snow said he will use his power at the ECOWAS Regional Committee so that no other development can come to Liberia. But Senator Snow made a lot of different rebuttal to those statements that he didn't say those words. He says something else, and the ministry is stating different thing. So we're going to bring you that development here this evening as he threatened to sue the government of Liberia over a defamation case. These plus many more stories we have for you here this evening, including the Nima County School system. We're going to be discussing that too as well. We will not go on with the show for 2 hours today. We're going to have the show for 1 hour because we have some other things to take care of behind the scene. So we cannot go for exact 2 hours today. But I'm hoping and praying that Alfonso will join me pretty soon. Very, very soon, Alfonso will be joining me. We have 27 minutes going the show already. Probably we're going to be discussing these issues for like 30 minutes as we try to get ourselves prepared for some other engagement that we have today. But again, it's going to be a wonderful show. Very, very good show here. If you're watching us, wherever you're watching us from, please do us a due diligence back there, commenting your name, your location, so that we can feature you right here on the show. Let's go for this break. When we come back, we dive into our discussion for today. Let's go for this break.
Mama, you died at the edge of my heart. I still remember you, Mama. The time you're supposed to enjoy from the fruit of your womb is the time you die. But I still remember you. I love you, Mama. Mama, why are you leaving me so soon? Mama, why are you leaving me beautiful? Mama, Mama, why are you leaving me so sad? Mama, I'm in love with you. Yeah. Mama, why are you leaving me so soon? Mama, why are you leaving me beautiful? Mama, Mama, why are you leaving me so sad? Mama, I'm in love with you. No one cares like a mother. Mama, I am missing you. No one struggles like a mother. Mama, I am missing you. Mama, leaving me so soon. Mama, why are you leaving me beautiful? Mama, Mama, why are you leaving me so sad? Mama, I'm in love with you. There came a time Mama went hungry just for me to eat. There came a time Mama went broke just for my education. Mama, makarudo panay. Mama, makaunto tikani. Mama, I wanna be, walk up your bubble. Mama, who don't cry no. Mama, Baba no yeno. Mama, Baba no yeno. Mama, they don't buy me. Mama, oh pray. Mama, who don't cry no. Mama will pray, Mama will pray, Mama will pray. Mama, who don't cry no. Yeah. Mama, makarudo panay. Mama, makaunto tikane. Mama, I wanna be, walk up your bubble. Mama, who don't cry no. Yeah. Mama, why you leaving me so soon? Mama, why you leaving me beautiful? Mama, Mama, why you leaving me so sad? Mama, I'm in love with you.
TRC, distinguished Liberians gather here, commissioners, paramount chiefs, elders who arrived early this morning from Nimba County, former commandos of the Special Forces of the IMPFL now disbanded, to the great forces alert and Model, without whom democracy will not prevail today. Had it not been for these great forces fighting dictatorship to enthrone democracy, peace, and stability, Liberia would not be what it is today, and I won't be here called senator sitting before the TRC to give my account of the role I play. Before I go further, I would like to say that the last time I talked about Chairman Verdier, talked about Sheikh Afome Cornell and others, I will not stop my story because some of them were involved in the process. I will go right on explaining my story. But my concern is that the people before whom we sit to explain our stories themselves have story to tell. And I do not know to whom they will stand to tell their story. These are the distinguished personalities who are responsible at the end of the day to come out with recommendations either for war crime or whatever against us or whoever. I just want you all to know that I have come here in obedience to my conscience and by popular demand of the Liberian people for me to come personally and be present off camera to tell the Liberian people and the world what led to the crisis that I was involved in and to let them know my role. I did not know many years back that there would be a TRC, that I would sit before it to explain. But what I did was I prepared for the future because I always look into the years with prayer. So I prepared my memoir. And don't be disappointed, don't be discouraged because many of you may want me to stand and just begin to narrate. I don't want to be distracted, so I will read most times from my memoir. And then at certain times, I will begin to explain orally. Many speakers have been here, they have explained their role. I listened attentively to the narration given by Dr. Fambula, a great philosopher, a professor. I listened to Comrade Joe Wally. I listened to so many people. What I'm here to do today is I explain along the line. I will make comments on most of those stories that they gave, not to condemn them, but to make amendments. Because in the narration, there were some omissions, and I will fill those gaps with whatever was missing there. I do not need to dive into 1847 because whatever those who came on this soil in 1847 were accused of having one party system, whatever those who came, Liberians who came back to this great nation, whatever they were accused of, I guess they paid the price in 1980 because they were overthrown. So I don't need to go back into that history, narrating who came here, who didn't come here. Now, my involvement actually started in 1985, November 12. Minus 1985, I was an unknown soldier, quietly moving here, doing my job, defending my duties as a soldier, in obedience and defense of my nation. So I will start from 1985. As you know, in 1980 there was a coup against a one-party system rule, a coup against the American-Liberian. When the coup was staged, no one forced the junta to go on the radio and announce to the Liberian people and the world that they will indeed turn over the government of Liberia in the democratic elections in 1985. And in that election, the junta members would not be partakers. They said this to the world. They promised Liberian people. They charged the old regime or the Three Party for corruption. In fact, not just corruption, but rampant corruption. Hardly had they gotten seated, when corruption reached at the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro. And when they begin to travel far and near to other countries and begin to enjoy life and in their various positions that they occupied, something began to happen. Many of them did not want to any longer adhere to their own promise to turn power over in 1985 to the people of Liberia. Confusion broke out among the ranks and file of the PRC. The regime began to design phantom coups. It was difficult to know the real coups and fake coups. Whatever the case, the revolution began to eat its own babies. And people began to be executed. People began to be tried in kangaroo courts where they had no due process of law. And I took interest. I took interest in praying. I took interest in making sure in my mind, praying in my mind, praying in my heart, that this guy should go. Because even the very regime they accused and executed his members, in that regime, from the days of Tottenham when I was small, going to school, I never heard of so many coups as I heard of in the Dole regime. I never heard of many executions. I never saw so many executions in the Dole regime, in the previous regime, than the one Dole carry out. So I wanted this government to be removed, but how? I didn't know the how. I didn't know how to get the government out of power, but in my mind, I was no longer in support, because many of our colleagues were being slaughtered in cold blood, they were being lied on, they were being executed. For example, Wesson coming from football field was arrested simply because he held a different ideology than that of Samuel Doe. Nelson too and I joined the army in 1974. Harry Johnson, so many of our colleagues were killed in cold blood because of phantom coup that were designed by the junta leader himself, simply because they were not in favor of the prolongation of his military rule. So I wanted this government to go, but I didn't know how. So that was the case with me. Now, in his desire, in the attempt to perpetuate his rule, the army at the time was a broad-based army. The armed forces of Liberia consisted of all the tribes. But he began to remove the Guild and Manon, and he began to move other tribes that sympathized with Kwangpa. He removed them and replaced them, and the army became predominantly the Crown tribe. At the time he wanted to stay, he did all of this thing here. As time went on, he suspected Kwangpa, being a brave man, being a great man, most popular in the revolution, among his colleagues, among the people of Liberia, they admire him. He transferred General Kwangpa from the position of a commanding general to that of the Secretary General, and Kwangpa refused. And that brought problem between Dole and Kwangpa's life was very threatening. Kwangpa had to go to America. He went abroad, he left the country because his life was threatened. Kwangpa remained in the United States until Dr. Fambula, Harry Greaves, and Philip, and so many of them, they went to America and they encouraged Kwangpa to come back. His wife, Tala, was very scared. And they told her that Kwangpa will not die, your husband will not die. We will make sure that he removed the government and you will return home, because where you are in the United States is not your home. And they encouraged his wife, Tala, Mrs. Kwangpa, to let the husband go. It was 1985, November 12, that Kwangpa finally came to Liberia. At that time, I was in the Ministry of National Defense, G2 office, Chief of Operation, Chief of Defense Intelligence for Operation. And we knew what was happening, but to whom will we tell our information? I was already not in favor of the regime, because the regime was killing its own babies. So Thomas Kwangpa came in 1985 with Dr. Fambula and his group, Joe Wale and others, Joseph Beer, Imaiwa Dennis, there were so many. At the point of crossing from the Manon River Bridge, Joe Wale shot Joseph Beer in the back. Whether it was a mistake or intentional, he needs to explain that. I didn't hear that from him when he was on the stand here. But said Joseph Beer was a military strategist of the invading force, upon whom Kwangpa largely depended. And they crossed. Where exactly was Kwangpa, I cannot say, I don't know. Whether he was with them, if he was with them, then he made a mistake, because when you are leading a military force and you are leaving the friendly area to the enemy zone, upon contact with the enemy, you have to give a head count to know how many wounded, how many missing in action, how many die in action, how many you still got alive to move on to the next stage of the operation. But that didn't happen. And so when General Kwankwa entered Monrovia, he named Joseph Biya as a commanding general. That is to tell you that he didn't even know that Joseph Biya was killed at the border. So that is where I'm going to tell my story. November 12, 1985. Johnson, Prince Johnson, and the events. On the morning of November 12, citizens of Monrovia had a rude awakening by the sounds of machine guns, fire, and rocket-propelled grenades vibrating from the Executive Mansion, the home of the President, and also the Liberia Broadcasting Corporation, LBS. Shooting persisted throughout the morning until General Kwankwa's voice was heard on television and on radio. I am General Thomas Kwankwa. The government of Samedo has been overthrown. Though it is in hiding, there is no escape for him. The National Patriotic Forces have taken over the reins of power. We do not want bloodshed. The officers and men of the armed forces of Liberia are hereby ordered to disarm and remain in the barracks. We have sufficient manpower to attack the country by land, sea, and air. Now, this speech that General Thomas Kwankwa read was prepared by Dr. Famula just before they invaded the country. That he didn't need to depend on the armed forces of Liberia. Why did he do this? Because they wanted to neutralize Kwankwa. They wanted to keep him in isolation because there was a coup d'etat among the very group that came to remove Doe. Now let me elaborate. The group that came was 35 in number. 30 Sierra Leoneans that were given them by President Momo of Sierra Leone upon the influence of Dr. Famula, who has a Sierra Leone connection. And there were only 5 Liberians. The 5 Liberians were Joseph Biya, Emmanuel Dennis, Kopa Tia, Kwankwa himself, and Makui, Major Makui. These were the 5. And so the plan was, look, don't encourage the armed forces to come near the general. If the general should succeed in killing Doe, then you guys should kill Kwankwa immediately and invite me to take the reign of power. And then let the world know that Kwankwa died in action. And that was the plan. And so when they came to Monrovia, I went to join them. I was at my house that morning when the sound of gun began to vibrate. I saw 2 journalists, my colleagues, my friends. We lived together, and for many years we knew each other. And that is, what is it, Charles Bayon, and another guy, Kwame Clement. They came to my house and said, Johnson, there's a shooting at the station. We would like to go there, but we are afraid. And I said, okay, if you are afraid, then you wait, we go together. So I went with them to make sure it was really Kwankwa speaking or not. When I got to the radio station, this is the time I met General Thomas Kwankwa. I met him at the time he was leaving the radio station, coming out, when the Sierra Leone guy arrested me and disarmed me. Because people were not to take guns in there other than those who already came to the country. So when Kwankwa came, he asked him to return my guns and asked me to join them. So I was happy to join them because, as I told you earlier, I had a predetermination in my mind long before they did a Kwankwa to join any group of people to move the government that was killing its own babies, lie on its own babies and killing them. So this I felt was my opportunity, was the best chance. So I joined Thomas Kwankwa. But when I joined General Thomas Kwankwa, I was also taken aback. If he came to really revolutionize this country, to overthrow the government that he felt was so oppressive, I wonder why he had to go all the way saying no bloodshed, soldiers return to the barracks, we do not want bloodbath. And he also said if people shoot anyone, those people will be immediately executed. What if the group he was depending on by air, by land, by sea, if they had come, I wonder if they won't kill. Because there is no revolution that has ever been staged that I know in Africa without bloodshed. You must shed blood. Those people you are going to remove from power will defend. They won't take it lightly with you. So if you don't succeed, they get rid of you. So the blunders that were created made Kwankwa to go into hiding when he heard about the death of Joseph Biya, when he heard about the counter coup, the coup that was in the very coup that they brought. He could not stand it any longer because he had already left the radio station and he had heard that the AFL troops were very close to the radio station and there was no way to go back there to tell the AFL that he wants to disarm and return to the barracks to come once again to his aid. He could not do so. So Kwankwa said goodbye to me and he was leaving. I didn't know where he had gone to. I thought he went to BDC. When I rushed to BDC, I couldn't see him. I came back to the station. They were shooting. Then I left to go to the 72nd to get an ammo personnel carrier because I can drive it. And I got one good guy to shoot a 50 caliber that was mounted there. Then I went with one guy they call Rabo Ratti. He's always with Ambassador George Weah. We both went together in the car. He drove the car. When we got there, I took one of the grenades I had on me and I put it in my pants. I was taking a risk because if the pin had dropped, I would be blown out. But I had it there. And so when we got to the 72nd, we saw the soldiers standing up, very quiet looking, and the place was so silent. And I asked for Lieutenant Glenn. Lieutenant Glenn was the one that General Kwankwa named that morning as the commanding officer of the 72nd Battalion. So when I went in, he was sitting behind his desk, and soldiers surrounded him, and I thought they were the bodyguards. And I told him, Lieutenant Glenn, I'm here, the radio station is on fire. I want to recapture it. I can regroup the AFL and capture it. But he couldn't answer me. He was just sitting down. I did everything to communicate with him, whatever way, no way. Then I suspected something was happening. By the time I could come out, the soldier grabbed me right at the door. They took up my shirt and took up my boots and Mark Sharp. You all know Mark M. Sharp. Colonel Mark Sharp. He was there with Colonel Peter Solo, and they were arguing about themselves. Some said, let's shoot this man. And the others said, no, this man, when we come by in the morning, we saw this man. If we kill him, we wouldn't know where Kwankwa is hiding. Let us not kill him. He will have to explain detail of how the invaders came. So they were arguing, and somebody said, look, let's handcuff the man. And then I just showed my hand like this, and they handcuffed me in the front. A handcuff that had no key. No one there had a key. It was only one soldier that had a handcuff, and they handcuffed me in the front, and that was it. And Peter Solo said, look, let's take the man to Camp Shuffling and have him executed. Then Marshall said no. Marshall and Peter Solo said no, let us take the man to BDC, put in the stockade, and then tonight we will do his job. That meant to kill me at midnight. So they put me in the armor personnel carrier and with soldiers on top. And we drove from 72nd through Ghana's Way, through the Freeport area, and we got to the bridge, Tucker Bridge. And when we crossed the bridge, I thought we were going straight to BDC. They too were afraid because they didn't know what was ahead of them. So we went to Slipway. I did not know that the AFL had a branch established there by Colonel Mark Sharp. So they took me there, and he got down with few soldiers to go in the house to communicate to headquarters in BDC, with headquarters in BDC, whether the road, everything was quiet, whether BDC was under control of the AFL. He wanted to get the information. So as I was sitting there, the handcuff was matching my hand, going to my flesh. I put my head up, trying to look at the Dove River so I could jump on and swim. And my heart was telling me, no. God was telling me, don't go there. My heart was telling me, don't go. You will not swim better with this cuff on your hand, and you will be killed. Just remain where you are. And I did. I went back into the tank. And Mark Sharp came out from the house, he got in the tank, and we drove to BDC. As we got from Lane Street, we went in the motor pool. He saw some soldiers whom he discovered that morning to be with Thomas Kwankwa. And he stopped the tank and ordered the soldiers to come down and arrest the few soldiers that were there. Then as he got down, I put my hand in my pants. It was not very easy, but I did. And I took out the grenade and held the grenade in my hand. So as they came and got down, and the marshal came in the tank, other soldiers they arrested, they were on top of the tank, two came in the tank and joined me. Then as soon as I discovered they have gotten seated and they were about to pull up, I dropped the grenade right at the feet of Colonel Mark Sharp. And I said, grenade! And Mark Sharp and his group opened the tank and fled for their life. And when they fled, I came out. Mark Sharp is a living witness. He's still alive. Many soldiers from BDC who know the story, they are here. Then I ran outside the gate, Motorpool gate, right on Lane Street there. There's a gas station there. At the back of it, there was a government toilet there with Red Cross. So I tried to jump over the fence 2-3 times. It was difficult. But then I saw the soldier running, because at the time when I ran away, the tank was parked right at the gate, at the entrance of the motor pool. So the soldiers who fled and took cover under the different cars far away from the truck, from the tank, could not come. They thought the tank would explode. But by the time they got to know that the tank would not explode, because probably the grenade, the plane was still there, they chased me. But then I had crossed over, jumping over the fence to go into Public Works compound by 5 something in the morning. And they managed to cross over. At the time it was a heavy rainy day too. The ground was wet, it was raining heavily, and I was on one old dilapidated truck that had been there for years. And the only thing that divided the Public Works and the graveyard was just a fence and the big drainage with water. So I stayed under the truck, and the soldiers came arguing among themselves, blaming themselves why they didn't kill me, and somebody led me to escape. If they had killed me, it would have been the best thing. Now they sent them to look for me. They were shooting all over the place, and there were noise of machine guns, live fires, and so forth. And I was just right there. And what scared me most, I almost came out, was that I saw the serpent, bone constructor, under the truck. I was very scared. If I had coughed, I would be finished by today. But I remained there, and about 7 o'clock they had left. They searched the whole place. In fact, the Public Works yard was so big, it's still big up to today's date, and they didn't know exactly where they had gone to. Looking for one man in a big place like that was very difficult. And so they left. When they left, I just put myself in the drainage and found my way across the graveyard, got to Center Street, where the people were patrolling, and I kept myself under concealment. When they crossed, when they went to the Benson Street area, then I crossed to the old PAL office. When I got to the old PAL office, you all know PAL now. When I got to the old PAL office on Gurley Street there, I took off, I removed my pants from me, and I remained in brief. I removed it, and I saw the old coal pot, and I put the old coal pot on my hair. Now I got the water and sewer area there that is now being used as a NBI office. And I got on the street, went all the way to the beach area, convent behind it, and I went to Coconut Plantation. That person who saved me, I won't call the name for security purpose, but the crippled woman saved me. The crippled woman saved me. I went to the house that night, and the key she used to uncuff me was the key that the country people normally use for the old type of valise. She used that to uncuff me, and then said to me, "Stay here until daybreak." And I said, "If I stay here, all of you will be finished." Because Doe was on the radio announcing that wherever they will catch on a rebel, whoever in that area will be finished. So I told her I won't stay here. Now, her brother was up country. Her brother was in the army, I think in 10th Battalion, and he had his M16 A1 rocket launcher. The grenade launcher was in the house. And instead of coming out, I came out, took the M16, took the uniform, I dressed, and I came out. Because the soldiers and they were now recognizing each other. I made sure that I was never recognized. I made sure that I was one of those soldiers on the street there. So I came home all the way, and then I knocked at my door, my mother's door. She was up country, and my sister came to the window, who was sick because they thought I had been killed that afternoon. The soldiers of the AFF from the mansion thought certainly they've killed me. They came to my house and collected my vehicle and other things. They would do house search. So the people in my mother's house said, "Look, if you stay here, we all will die. You better go your way. If you stay here and refuse to move, we will show you." So my house was not too far from there, and I just went to my house. That day I took 6 bottles of small gold medal to get drunk, a little bit to get out, and the 6 bottles of gold medal could not make me drunk. So all I had to do was I needed prayer. So I just prayed and walked out, and I went to my own house. And there I was in the ceiling in the morning. I asked my wife to open the front door, open the back door, open the windows, and open the main door of the house. So soldiers will come, where an important person that is wanted for treason, or somebody that is alleged is needed by government, wanted by government, is hiding, will not be open like that. It should be in a concealed place. But I was in the room there, under the bed, I'm in the ceiling. The room will be open, the door outside open, the door back open, the window open, everything open. And I'm there. And the soldiers came after the month, almost a month, because I stayed in Liberia after December, Christmas season like that. So I stayed there, and the soldiers came and told my wife, "Look, we know this man was not killed. We know he's brave. We know he's capable of coming back, regrouping. Your father is John Waki, Colonel John Waki. So your father is still with Doe, and this man you married John to John Revel. So you better tell us what this man is. We are aware that you're telling the truth that he's not here. But if he does come here, let us know. Here is $500. So they gave my wife money to take care of the baby on the ground that if I came back, she should let them know. And I was right there hearing all they were saying. If a soldier had said, let's look under the bed, I would be finished by now. But I was right there. And I was not scared to shake. I didn't cough. And they left. When they left, I began to strategize how to leave Monrovia. At that time, the public works minister, I won't call his name, he had left for abroad for a foreign trip. And my uncle was driving for him in 1985. And the NDPL t-shirts, we sent some people, some sympathizers who were with NDPL. They came to my aid from Nimba. They gave me as many NDPL t-shirts, caps, and they brought it to me. And they said the minister was not in town. The driver brought a car to me, RL. And we wore the t-shirt that morning by 7 o'clock in the evening after a month in Monrovia. And put more drinks in the car. And we began to go as NDPL partisans. So every checkpoint we waved to them and told them, thank you, victory over the invading foes. So we got to Salala, the maximum gate. We got there, I was very hungry, and I saw the lady that was roasting plantain. And I had sat in the car, jammed up with the people. My leg was giving me problem. And I just took the chance. I said, Lord, I'm hungry and I'm going to buy something. Cover me up. And I got there and I was buying plantain, 4 plantain, roasted plantain. And the soldier was there and they didn't know who that was. I'm a member of the NDPL. I'm a partisan. And after all of that, I went away to the Côte d'Ivoire. Nobody knew who was in the car until I got to Ivory Coast border. And I threw the t-shirt, everything away. And I crossed into exile. In exile, we began to look for our colleagues who are scattered, who are run away from Liberia, especially Lieutenant Copatier did not die during the crisis. He escaped and went to Ivory Coast. And so I sent people out to help locate where he was, and they did. They came and told me, and I went personally to visit him, and I told him, you did not run away, you retreated to stage another maximum battle. So let us close ranks. Let us join ranks. And so we began to mobilize. And we mobilized as men. Though we didn't have money, we didn't have any place to train the men, but we kept them together. I did my best to keep them together. Refugees spread all over the western coast of Côte d'Ivoire. We brought them together, and every Saturday we used to meet in my town. A very large number of people. And the news got to Liberia, and Moses Dupu came to join us. The first person who crossed over was Nicholas Podia. Podia came to join us. We received him. He brought some money, and because he was former vice head of state, he had traveled extensively. He knew many foreign lands. We decided to make him our leader since he could be the one to lead us for training. So we told him to be our leader and find a way for us to go to foreign country to be trained. He accepted gladly. We all accepted. It didn't take long. Dupu also came. When Dupu came, he wanted to take leadership of the group. That was not possible because he didn't have money like us, and we wanted Podia. So after spending a few time with us, he had to go to Nigeria, where he took refuge with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in Lagos. So this Podia stayed with us. We were in Zouanwe, in Côte d'Ivoire. We went to Danale, and finally to Abidjan, where we met Tony King. Tony King had a means of finding base because he was in contact with Blaise Compaoré. Because Blaise Compaoré married the wife, the former wife of the late A.B. Toba. So he was connected there very closely. But he didn't want to make the contact for her, though he knew we were very brave guys, and many in number. But he didn't want to help us because he was not in conversance and not in favor of social indigenes, grouping and say they want to overthrow. He needed an American Liberian leadership. and he told us that in fact your in-law will soon be coming. Charles Taylor, though the jail Taylor in America, and though wanting to extradite him, we are trying to get him from America. We'll get Taylor from America. He married to your sister. All of you Nima people are your daughter. So will you accept Taylor when he comes? We said, fine. He said, when Taylor comes, then I will now open the door to lead you to places where you can quicker get training base and train and come and move Samedo. So we remained there, and we're asking how Taylor was going to be free. He said, well, there was a diplomatic arrangement that was being carried on by a few American Liberians, not all of them per se, and with the help of Ramsey Clark, the former Attorney General of the Supreme Court of the United States, we get him out. So Taylor did not break jail. Taylor did not break maximum jail. Taylor was let out with the purpose of coming to Liberia to join us to remove the dictatorial system. And so Taylor he got free, went through Mexico, other places, and came to Liberia. When he came to Liberia, he met us in the Côte d'Ivoire, and we dearly welcomed him. But we had not told Podia then that we didn't want him any longer, because he had the money but didn't know training base. He didn't have any direct contact. He needed to go around asking people, and we felt then that he didn't have that much contact. Now Taylor, who has come as our brother-in-law, were attached more important to our plight than anybody else. So we accepted Taylor, and he was with us. And while we were there, Taylor was still afraid of Podia, because Podia was still interested in making inroads in ensuring that training be provided wherever country he could find it. So what happened was that there was a guy among us they called William Obe. William Obe in Monrovia served as a bodyguard to Podia at his house. And so William Obe was with us. So Taylor told him, say, look, you know what? William said, no. Say you are washing Podia's clothes and you normally clean his house and you have the key. I'm going to invite Podia at my house here in Abidjan. And while I'm entertaining him, we are discussing about Liberia and the way forward. Go to the house, break the room, steal the bed with all the money and the passports, and destroy them. Bring the money to me later. Once you have the key, he wouldn't know that you broke it, because you will tell him that as I left from here to go, the house had already been broken into. So that was the strategy put in play by Mr. Taylor to incapacitate Podia. So that was done. And Podia cried bitterly because no passport, no money. At the last resort, he ended up in washing Madingo people dishes. That morning food they can face with rest water. Podia started washing. It was very, very bad. And Taylor did not want Podia to follow us. That was very bad. At the time, his plight declined seriously. Podia now decided to contact Victor Hager. That was the Lebanese man I mentioned here. Victor Hager, the late. And to say Podia came to overthrow, Podia didn't have money, he didn't have armies. I am seriously of the thought that Victor Hager may have contacted Doe for money business and told Podia, your former soldiers are grouped in your favor, they are at the border to help you come back home, to remove Doe. So when Podia crossed, they arrested him and said he came to overthrow. Podia did not come to overthrow. That was not the case. And so we put her out of the way. We Dropu also out of the way. We never saw Dropu again because he was in Nigeria. And we were left alone with Taylor and ourselves. And so Blaise Compaoré now decided to introduce Mr. Taylor to Blaise Compaoré. And after the introduction, Blaise Compaoré bought the idea. But Thomas Sankara was not in favor. And we didn't know that. We were not told while we were in Côte d'Ivoire that Blaise Compaoré, that Thomas Sankara was not in favor. We were not told. We didn't know. So series of visits were made by Mr. Taylor to Ouagadougou, and the end result was, okay, you can come. So they flew us in group by group, and we all gathered in Ouagadougou. When we got in Ouagadougou, when my group got there, my group was a fifth group. There were other guys there already. When we got there, we were told that we were going to be arrested in a few hours if we did not comply to remove Sankara from office. That Sankara was not in favor of any evasion, he was not interested, and that he would arrest all the Liberians and send them back to Liberia, and that caused panic. So the group, because Sankara was the president, Blaise Compaoré was the deputy head of state and commander of the poor barracks. The poor barracks consisted of the commando units that provided security for the mansion. So you see how it was very easy for Sankara to be removed. So the group that was in the barracks with the commandos, the Liberian group, were requested or ordered to join the group of Burkina-based commando units to remove Thomas Sankara and to pave way for us to stay in Burkina Faso, to go into Libya, to come out of Burkina, to come out of Libya back to Ouagadougou. So that was how Thomas Sankara was removed. And we got to Libya. When we got to Libya, there was another group from our group. There was a first group that was dispatched. But all along this line, we had not discussed who will be our leader. We accepted Taylor as our in-law to help us save Nimba County from the oppressive system of Samedo. But we needed to have a leader. And there was a revolutionary group. A leader in which a leader is not imposed upon anybody. When we got to Libya, William Obe I talked about was the first group of people that went to Libya. And when we got there, the English we heard was not the English we could get used to. The group that went, William Obe told them, Major Taylor, our leader, Major Taylor, our leader. Major Taylor is our leader. You like it, Jacko, you don't like it, Jacko Lanta. So Taylor leadership was imposed upon us in Libya. When we got there from Burkina and joined all the other groups, there were other people in prison there already on the base. The people who said that they needed an election and they would not take Taylor as a leader. Forget about spending money and doing what? It was not his own money. It was Gaddafi's money that he was to spend. And at day the men were the ones to use the guns to share blood, their own blood and the blood of their own countrymen. So they were known in the Taylor. They wanted men from among their own kind. And that didn't go well with Mr. Taylor. He imprisoned Cooper Miller, he imprisoned Augustine Wright, and in Burkina Faso, he tricked them into going to Burkina with the intent of buying vehicles we could use to invade Liberia. And when he got there, he asked Blaise Compaoré to imprison them and they remained in jail. On the base itself, I was in jail. The late General Samuel Vani was in jail. Tiger Wanti was also put to jail. Ina Dogola was put to jail. There's so many people that were in jail. They would beat us in jail, take us from jail, torture us, and go for training, and charge us for treason. He took me from jail and asked Musa to make me tribunal chairman. I became the chairman of the tribunal in Eza when we had not come to remove Doe, and Doe was still here as the leader, president, commander-in-chief. We are troubling each other in Libya. And Taylor had a system where he had one man on another, one group on another. Each group was a private security and on the other group. And when you had nothing to report, whenever he came from Burkina Faso to Libya, when you had nothing to report, he won't trust you. So when we discovered that, whenever he came back from Libya, there were over 100 plus letters from the same people will be writing against each other. Like Chairman Vardia will write against me that I want to overthrow Taylor, that I will write against Vardia, whom Taylor trusts dearly, that Vardia to want to overthrow. So the whole thing was confused. So we were in Libya and he explained this to Blaise Compaoré, and Blaise Compaoré said to him, well, if the soldiers you will use to overthrow your country's government is divided on this line and they cannot understand each other, they don't even like you, then I will provide you commandos. And he said, no, your commandos don't know our terrain. Whatever the case, I will hold my patient. I will try to not let them know what I intend to do, but they will get to know later. You will only put a few men among us when we are leaving to go. And then on the base, we have Guineans, we have Sierra Leoneans, we have Liberians who are there led by Putu Major. The late Putu Major from, I think, Grand Croissano. And these guys were sent there by Burma Fambola through Joe Wally, a Fambola British. So they were in Libya. But when they gave Joe Wally and the group money to go and bring more recruits for training to come and invade Liberia, money was free, they didn't go back. And they left those boys abandoned, and those were the guys that we absorbed into the MPFL. Taylor brought them on board because his own group now, he could not trust so many of us. So he brought other groups from the Liberian group that Fambola sent there. He brought also the group from Sierra Leone. He brought other groups. But the group from Sierra Leone did not have leadership because the leadership was giving money to go and bring more recruits too, and he decided to build a supermarket in Guinea, Conakry, and abandon the men there in Libya. So all these groups were brought on board. Senator Taylor knew that the men he had, though they were small in number, but very qualified, very tactical, very proficient, but what was lacking according to him was the obedience and submissiveness to him. So he had to bring other groups on board to neutralize this Liberian group. So we went through series of trainings, tactical trainings, airborne training, jungle warfare, whatever the case, all phases of military discipline we went through to come and attack Liberia. We wanted to attack Liberia, launching a seaborne attack, but the Strait of Gibraltar was blocked by the U.S. warships because there were sanctions on Libya at the time. So we couldn't make it. So we couldn't pass through Ivory Coast. And we thought we could pass through Ivory Coast, and that was the only hope for us. That was the only option. But we decided to use Sierra Leone. So Mr. Taylor said to us, look, so we cannot pass through the Strait of Gibraltar from here to launch a seaborne attack, stay on the high sea and come on shore with boats to launch the attack, and there's no way. Let's try Sierra Leone. Because once upon a time, MPFL that I am now head of today passed through Freetown, did not just pass there, but President Momo, who is still president at the time, when we were in Libya, provided men for Kwangba to invade Liberia. So Taylor now left to go to Sierra Leone with one Prince Bagley. So Prince Bagley now took him to President Momo and introduced Mr. Taylor to him. And the idea of using Sierra Leone was accepted by President Momo. Several visits were made to Sierra Leone with the hope of concretizing that connections with Momo. At last, Momo said, okay, I agree, but there's something, the men that I gave to Kwangba through the instrumentality of that formula were killed in combat. And their children and their wives are suffering. So we need help to give to the family. So you have to give me some money to get the family. And Taylor said, okay, here is $50,000, American dollars. I do not know exactly how much President Momo received from Taylor as his own personal gain. But $50,000 was given to President Momo for the family members of the soldiers that died in action in Liberia that Kwangba brought. When that was done, he said, okay, there are some houses over there, look at them, the one you think is okay to accommodate your men, go ahead, take it, furnish it very well. If you do not have the time, give me some money to furnish it, put mattresses, fridge, and everything you need, at least for the 1 week and a half that you will want to stay in Sierra Leone to rest until you invade Liberia. So Taylor gave him the money. Taylor thought it would be cheap on his part if he sat there to buy those things himself. So he gave the money and everything to Momo with the hope that Momo would put everything in the proper place. And Taylor left to come back to Libya. He briefed us